What's up guys, welcome to my channel. This is Rajat Gupta. Today in this video we'll talk about what is Wi-Fi calling and why I love it. So what is Wi-Fi calling? With Wi-Fi calling you can send or receive text messages and make or receive calls even when your cellular coverage is limited or unavailable. So that means when you are at places like hard to reach places like indoors where in some apartments, or maybe underground like in basements or in parking lots where the signal strength is actually low or unavailable, Wi-Fi calling comes to your rescue. But do make sure your Wi-Fi is actually reachable there, because if Wi-Fi is also not reachable, you will be out of reach. Let's talk about different features of Wi-Fi calling. So when you set up your Wi-Fi calling in your phone, you have to provide a 911 address, and what it means is actually you have to provide your emergency address, so that when you are in some kind of emergency and have to reach out to emergency number like 911, they can actually reach out to you. And this is why you have to set up your 911 address while setting up the Wi-Fi calling in your phone. Some phone also has a HD voice calling feature. That means if you enable HD voice on your phone, and if the other party has also enabled HD voice, then you will actually get the best voice quality possible while communicating to both the sides. Wi-Fi calling also comes with auto switching feature. That means like if you are currently in a call and you walk to a place where the cellular coverage is actually too low or unavailable and your Wi-Fi calling is enabled, then your current place call will not be disconnected, and your current call will actually jump from network to your Wi-Fi calling, which is awesome, right? Now let's talk about why I love the Wi-Fi calling feature. Number one, it is free. That's correct. Your service providers like AT&T, Verizon, Sprint doesn't charge anything for your Wi-Fi calling feature. Number two, it is by default present in your phone. That means you don't have to install anything like an application, just to place any call or just to receive a text message. And this is what the difference between like WhatsApp calling or Facebook Messenger calling and the Wi-Fi calling. You just have to set it up, and you would be using your network number like AT&T number, and you don't have to install any other application like WhatsApp. Number three, it extends your network. So for example, like this room where I'm standing in, it actually has like zero coverage or maybe like 10% network coverage. Sometimes my network comes and most of the time it's not even there. So this is why I'm actually communicating with my friends and family using Wi-Fi calling feature. Or otherwise, I had to walk out of my home and talk to people while standing on the road, which is not good, right? Number four, this is the most important point. So when you are roaming, like when you are outside your domestic coverage, for example, if you live in US and you are outside US, for example, you're traveling, you are in Europe, and you want to use your domestic calls, like you want to receive and send your domestic calls to your local family member in US, just connect to your Wi-Fi and enable the Wi-Fi calling feature, and you can communicate like you are in US. And this is actually different from international calling. For example, if you are roaming and you want to place some local call in US, that will be considered as your local call. It won't be considered as your international calling. However, that will consume your minutes if they are not free. Similar thing goes for your text messages. If you want to text some local messages in US, when you are outside US, it will be considered your local text messages, and it will be charged if those are not free for you. But for example, if you are in Europe and you want to send messages to someone in Europe or call someone in Europe while you are in Europe, that will be considered as international calling, and you will be charged unless you have an international package for that. Number five, you don't have to worry about the receiving party having Wi-Fi calling enabled or not. Using Wi-Fi calling, you can actually make local calls using your own network number, like your AT&T number. There's no special number for that. You would be just using your own assigned number, which you have been using for a long time. Okay, now we'll talk about what are the things that I don't like about Wi-Fi calling. Number one, Wi-Fi calling actually consumes more battery. Actually, I've seen it for myself. My phone actually drains the battery faster when I'm connected to Wi-Fi, which is actually the case every day, because I don't get cellular coverage in my home, so that's why I have to connect to Wi-Fi calling all the time. And I've seen my battery actually dies faster as compared to when I was not using Wi-Fi calling. Number two, you actually require a faster internet, like faster Wi-Fi for that. And if you have a slow internet, Wi-Fi calling probably is not a good idea for you. And also your Wi-Fi would be shared between your other devices, like cell phone in the same apartment, your TV, your laptop, and other things. So you definitely need a better Wi-Fi for that. Number 3, there may be cases when your Wi-Fi actually lags and your voice will be somewhat laggy, somewhat like that. Hey, how are you? How are you doing? You know, this kind of lag I'm talking about. I've actually seen it like a few times, not much, but most of the time, like 90% of the times, this actually works fine. So it may be only me, but I thought it's worth mentioning. And the last thing that I don't like about Wi-Fi calling is actually it will consume more Wi-Fi, more internet. And for me, it's actually fine because I have unlimited internet. But in case you don't have unlimited internet, you would be a little worried about consuming more internet usage. So how do you know when you're connected to Wi-Fi calling and when you're not? For that, I'll need my phone. So let me grab my phone and I'll walk you through. So let me show you what the current situation is. So as you can see on the top, there is no signal strength for me. It doesn't say AT&T, it doesn't say 4G LTE or something like that. So let me show you by making a call. And if I make some call, as you can see, it's actually not making any call because there is no signal strength. And I'll show you how to enable the Wi-Fi calling in Android. So the Wi-Fi calling is actually inbuilt on the notification bar right over here. Is the second option. But for that you actually have to enable the Wi-Fi first. So let me actually enable the Wi-Fi. Let's connect to the Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi is connected. So either you can enable the Wi-Fi calling from that feature, or if you're doing it for the first time, then go to settings, go to connections, and then go to Wi-Fi calling. And you can see it's actually currently off. So just click on that button and it will enable that. Since it was already set up for me, I don't have to provide my 911 address. Otherwise, you can actually provide your emergency address from here and it will be enabled for you. How to determine if your Wi-Fi calling is actually enabled or not? If you see on the top the Wi-Fi symbol, it actually turns something different. Usually the Wi-Fi symbol is actually consists of bars, but right now there's some kind of icon in that means the Wi-Fi calling is actually enabled. And if I try to make a call right now, you can see that the icon on the bottom changes to handset with Wi-Fi symbol on top. So this means the call is actually now going over Wi-Fi. So this is the Wi-Fi calling feature. And now I'll show you how to enable the Wi-Fi calling in iPhone. Just go to settings, go to your cellular, and you see Wi-Fi calling is actually on. So this is the option that you have to click. If you are enabling it for the first time, you can just turn it on from here and set up your emergency address. Otherwise, like for me, it's actually enabled right now, so the Wi-Fi calling is actually enabled. I hope this video was useful for you, and if it was, give me a like and subscribe to my channel to keep receiving these awesome videos like this every week. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.